Hey everyone, this is Demari. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And today I'm going to be doing the collective Lightwork tarot reading. Okay, so this is for everybody. This is not for specific signs. This is the collective energy. So just to make that clear, so you can look at this in general. It's got nothing to do with any particular zodiac sign. I just felt like it was necessary to look at the collective energies at this time and to see what messages we can pull from the source, the ascendant masters, spirit guides, and the archangels, as well as the gods and goddesses, in order to help us unify and come to a space of understanding, of transcendence, and also to help us get through some of the difficult cycles that have been playing out, as many of those cycles are coming to an end. So the other thing as well is, because a lot of us are starting to come out of lockdown, okay, slowly but surely, I figure now is a good time to really do this as well, because there has been a lot of fear around the unknown, where it is that we're headed, how things are going to change moving forward. So I really wanted to use this time now to help us gain further clarity and look at the power we truly have, right, as a collective, as an individual, but also as a collective, and how we can really shift consciousness into a more balanced, peaceful, harmonious standpoint, right? So to let you know, I'll be using a custom spread of mine, which is I call the Crescent Moon spread. And I'll be using a variety of decks. The first deck I'll be using will be the Work Your Light Oracle Deck. All right. Secondly, I will then be pulling a card from, I'll be using one card from each Oracle deck, okay? I will secondly be pulling a card from the Isis Oracle deck. Funny enough that this card is the one that's on the bottom, just as depicted on the box itself. And then I'll be pulling a card also from the Angelarium deck, okay? This is my brand new Oracle deck, so I'm really excited to use this in a reading. And then finally, I'll be getting some more messages from the Intuitive Tarot, all right? So just to let you know the general spread. And now we'll go into the reading. So what I'm looking at is essentially messages that will help us in regards to divine guidance and advice. Also messages pertaining to collective healing at this time. Messages in relation to divine signs, okay, that can help us identify where messages are coming in to offer support and clarity. And then we'll be generally getting some overall messages on how we can best move into a space of inner peace, healing, ascendance, and love, essentially. Okay, so let's have a look. So what divine guidance can we receive? What is it that the collective needs to know at this time? What is the advice you're willing to give us at this time? Source, spirit, ascendant masters, gods and goddesses alike. What is the advice you can provide the collective with at this time to help us move into a more harmonious space? So the card that we got is play, have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. I hope you can see that. Okay, so that is the energy that was pulled in regards to the advice. Don't be so serious, play, enjoy it, okay? Enjoy being able to come together again, okay? Even if you can't physically connect, right, yet, you can still do it virtually. You can still find ways to interact, to have a good time, to enjoy the little things, okay? Use the downtime to your benefit. But when we do come together, it's a time for celebration. It's a time to enjoy our connection, you know, our divine connection, our spiritual connection, also our physical connections, as well as our emotional connections, okay? It's a time to celebrate. I love this card. Look how beautiful it is. I don't think I've ever pulled this card before, so I love that this is the one that came out from the Work Your Light deck, okay? Blissful, abundant, beautiful, loving, kind, compassionate energy, celebration. This is the energy of the inner child coming into play, right? But I want to give you the message directly from the booklet as well, because I feel like it's important. So let me just find the card. So, play. Stop taking life so seriously. Your spirit needs to have some fun. The more you play, the more inspiration will follow. Take some time out to do something without being attached to the outcome. You are being called to rest and play and to learn to have more fun. Do something that makes you laugh, the best medicine around. Call up a friend that you can be silly with. I am that friend, by the way, so if you want to talk batshit nonsense, you can always message me. Take your inner child on a date. The more you switch off your mind, the more room your spirit has to whisper and guide, okay? Very, very important. When we do things without being attached to the outcome, clarity, ideas, and guidance and solutions have the space to drop in. The left and right hemispheres of the brain can begin talking to each other. Make play a compulsory part of your day. Schedule it. Spend more time doing things just because you love to do them, just because they bring you joy and light you up. If you follow what lights you up, you will if you follow what lights you up, you will light up the world without even trying. For when you are lit up, you are in your spirit, and when you're in your spirit, you fall into the flow of life. How do you play? What do you do to have fun? What lights you up? So these are the kinds of questions that you need to consider at this time, okay? If you've been working hard lately, it's time to celebrate how far you've come, all that you've achieved. Don't rush on to the next thing. Take a moment to throw a party, go on vacation, or have some fun, okay? So essentially the message here is have more fun, play more, celebrate your achievements, all right? So this is what I was talking about. It's about enjoying your time with others, enjoying the manifestations that have come into play. It's really allowing the inner child to have its time in the spotlight, to enjoy itself, to have fun, you know? This is why all these beautiful colors are really, you know, in the forefront of this image here, because it's that explosion of excitement, creativity, passion, happiness, fun, playful, right? It's very playful energy, and that's depicted here in this image, right? So I love that. I love that's the key energy here that's come up for you in regards to the advice, to enjoy and savor the positive things in life, the little blessings, okay? And to not forget to have some time for fun, okay? Not just work, work, work. I know it's been stressful with everything that's been going on, and work and finances have been at the forefront for everybody. But you also need to find that balance, to have that time to just enjoy yourself, to play. And I feel like as we come out of lockdown slowly, that's something we're all going to be doing a lot more of. We're going to really just be grateful, okay, of the connections we have in our lives. We're going to use that as incentive to connect more with one another physically, not just virtually. So I think that's really beautiful. I love that that's going to come out as an outcome. Okay, so now let's have a look from the Isis Oracle, and we're going to take a look at in regards to what can be used here. What is the message here that can help us with the healing, okay, at this time? Because as I said, a lot of people are closing out difficult cycles, okay? So this energy will help all of us in some way or another to move forward, okay? To do our individual healing and also to heal the wounds of the collective, okay? So what is the advice here in regards to our healing? Healing the collective energies at this time so that we may move forward and not be dwelling on the past. Whoa. Okay. All right. So the card we got here is past life, present power. Many spiritual faces of you. Interesting. Okay. It's interesting. I love how this has come out because I also have a little sand timer in this apartment. So it's really funny that the sand timer has come out. And I did actually have that out in my live reading. So it's kind of funny that, yeah, we got this card in particular. But anyway, so yeah, this is talking about, you know, it's past life, present power. Okay. So this is like literally the lessons and the experiences we've had and the things that we've acquired over many lifetimes, filtering down to this present one, okay, being used to grow, right, as a collective and as an individual. because you do, you obtain so much from your previous lives, okay? So whatever you were well versed in, whatever you gained a lot of insight into, whatever spiritual and psychic gifts that you really invested the most energy and time into, that's what comes the most natural to you. That's what I found anyway. So we'll have a look at that in regards to the booklet here and what advice it can give for healing, okay? So past life, present power, 113. Okay. So when the soul is growing in service to humanity, in service of to the great feminine and her call that all beings be healed and freed, it gathers internal resources to assist on the path. These resources include powers and gifts from other lifetimes. You are currently integrating past life abilities, and you are being guided by the oracle of the past life present power to be open to shifting internally and in your experience of your own levels of power and spiritual ability. Talents, abilities, and powers wish to be restored to you now from past incarnations. Sorry. This will help your path. You will often be able to recognize this because you feel some instant fascination or deep interest from a culture, philosophy, heritage, or even place on earth or beyond, which is deeply compelling. This is your intuitive recognition that a part of your soul connected with this passionate interest is being drawn into integration. At such times, there can be feelings, emotions, and even phobias or films apparently. Maybe a film will come up that you feel is relevant, I don't know, but either way, or fears that temporarily arise. You may even find your tastes for food and clothing and your sleep or other habits change quickly and noticeably for a time. These can all be signs that the past life energy is being integrated. Once it is digested into your current incarnation, you will feel more like yourself again, but in an expanded and more whole way. You will just feel like you are more of yourself, more stable, more full, and more at home in your own being. It is a lovely state of being to enjoy, which makes any ups and downs in the integration process more bearable. This oracle brings specific guidance that some of these past gifts from other incarnations are associated with ancient Egypt and civilizations connected with ancient Egypt, earthly and beyond, including some star civilizations such as Sirius and the Pleiades. Look for the symbols, books, crystals, or colors that interest you and pay attention to your dreams. If it is helpful to be conscious of any issues around the past life skills returning to you now, you will become aware of them so that they can be acknowledged, accepted, and released. Often, when integration is occurring, people who have been connected to you in such lifetimes become a more prominent part of your life. It is possible that they will remain thus, and that as the integration happens and you continue to grow, some of those relationships will fall away. As you have completed the karmic healing and integration of the energies associated with that past life, distilled the golden gift, and are ready to move on. This may take weeks, months, or in some cases, years. The ritual below, however, will facilitate with the process with some more efficiency, but you must trust in your timing for such matters as your own soul is guiding the process and knows exactly what it is doing. To enable this soul awakening to occur, purification and time to assimilate the healing is recommended. You can accomplish this through rest, time in nature, prayer that your power be exercised with love and mercy, and a willingness to be guided by the Divine Mother, Lady Isis, who loves you unconditionally. Okay. This does have a ritual with it, but we won't go into that. You can look at different rituals to help you with the integration of past life energies, abilities, awarenesses, clearing karmic debt, and all the rest of it online. Okay, there are many different rituals that you can take and look at. I will even also be discussing some of these one day on the channel also that I use, things that I do personally. So we'll move on for now. See if there's any other insights that may be helpful here. As also know that as wonderful as it sounds to retrieve past life power and ability is not always without challenge. We often need to be willing to be fluid in our understanding and experience of ourselves. We need to be open to reframing our idea of ourselves as more spiritually connected, more powerful, and more responsible for our light on the earth. This can be confronting at times. We often have to let go of any fear or disappointment we suffered in the relevant past life before the gift can be restored to us in a useful way this lifetime. You can rest assured that anything you need to know in order to heal will come into your awareness. You may or may not see the whole picture, and if you do not, then it isn't necessary for healing. It's just a matter of being attentive and aware of what is happening right before us in our in our lives, and realizing that if we follow any pain, we will find what needs healing. Then the gift hidden within the pain can be released. This oracle of past life power indicates that the gift found in our healing will be past life talents and abilities, right? So what we was talking about, the gifts, psychic gifts, spiritual gifts, other abilities that you may not realize that you had, but were very much a part of your previous lifetime for you, okay? As with all spiritual instruction, okay, so yeah, that was basically the key message there. I know that was kind of long, but I thought that was necessary, okay, because that was really powerful and really potent. So if you feel like you need to go back over it again, feel free to rewind. But essentially, this is saying that any healing that needs to take place in regards to the past life circumstances, karmic debt, ancestral debt, things of that nature, as well as any lingering, fears or pain or suffering that is attached to any of these gifts that are coming through will be healed, understood, and released, okay? So you will go through a bit of a process with that. As with all shadow work of some nature, it is going to be a little bit difficult in places, especially as you're having to integrate parts of yourself that you weren't consciously aware of before, okay? So as it said, you might find that you're temporarily shifting in some ways where you might not like things that you used to like. You might like things that you never paid interest in, things of that nature, okay? But it's just this integration process, okay? Different aspects of yourself coming together, right? Which is a powerful thing. It's a good thing because that means it's like soul retrieval, okay? You're retrieving elements of yourself that was kind of lost to time. So really, really powerful energy, okay? So I love that that's coming in for the collective also, because that is going to feed into the collective energy. That's going to raise our consciousness further. So I love that. Okay. So now let's have a look in regards to the Angelarium deck with what potential signs could be shown to us at this time from the divine in order to help us on this path and help us moving towards and through this leg of the journey as a collective. So what signs, symbols, synchronicities do we have to be aware of? Okay, so we got Hazmed, Angel of Annihilation. That must sound really scary, but I promise you it's not going to be, okay? This is deep level transformation, all right? This is a brand new deck, but look at how amazing these cards are. Like, I just have to say, I absolutely adore them already. And I felt so much affinity and power in them. Like affinity with them and so much power within them when I first took them out of the deck. So I will definitely be reviewing these cards once I get closer insight as to how they operate and just more to grips with the individual messages, okay? Because obviously there's quite a few cards to look at. So I'm going to go to the booklet now to discuss what this is. In regards to the Angelarium, this looks at the Kabbalic sort of tree of life, okay? In regards to the Torah, the tree of life, the Kabbalah that comes from the Torah, it's the placements on the tree of life as well as the associated energies. Okay, so we'll go to Hazmet. See where he's at. I don't know why I'm saying he. I mean, I don't think, oh, it's kind of a masculine energy, I think. So that's why I'm saying he, but not necessarily. And that's the thing, I was quite fascinated with the Tree of Life some years ago, but my knowledge and memory of it is really hazy nowadays. So it's something I have to go back over and study in detail, because it's a very powerful way of looking at different pathways through life. Okay, it's looking at all the possible ways in which you can approach the different stages of life. Okay, and when you reach the point of transcendence. So it's really yeah, it's very, very interesting. It's a very interesting philosophical way to approach, you know, sort of life and death and the journey in between, right? So let's have a look. So Hasmet, angel of annihilation, the unmaker, a terrible sight to behold, the void eating itself and making itself anew. That which no longer exists is unmade by Hasmet's hands. There is something that needs to be removed. Look upon that which should not be and lose it from existence. So the signs for that are a hood, an eclipse, an empty field, okay? So any of those signs could be relevant, okay, and tied to an energy that needs to be purged, to a circumstance that needs to be released, an individual that doesn't have a place in your life currently, okay, that needs to be released, even if it's just temporarily or distanced from, okay? But this is really powerful energy, as I said. And while it sounds terrifying and it looks terrifying, it's not without reason, okay? While there is so much light, playfulness, okay, and deep-rooted, you know, healing from many lifetimes, you cannot get this without this, essentially. And you know this, okay? If you have any true spiritual insight, you're aware that, you know, where there's light, there's also darkness, okay? You don't get one without the other. You can't differentiate without having the two extremes, right? And the point here is that there is always going to be something. As I said, a lot of us are coming out of these difficult cycles, okay? And there's been a lot of fear, anxiety, stress, anger in places, right? For some people. And that's why it's essential now that you look at the things that trigger those fears, trigger those moments of frustration or anger. Look at situations that have been playing out in the previous timeline, because we have shifted somewhat. I've been seeing that over years now, this constant shifting and convergence of timelines, okay? But I feel like we're on a very new trajectory now. So it's like now there's going to be a lot of things that are closing in our lives, and we have to be willing to release them all. Whatever needs to be released has to be released. It's not even a question of when, how, if, should I, maybe. Like, it has to be released. There's going to be things you're going to have to let go of, okay? No matter how difficult it is, because otherwise it's going to end up devouring itself. That's what this energy is talking about. That whatever's toxic, whatever no longer has a place in this timeline, whatever is not of the energy in which the energies you're not just tapping into, but you're aligning with in this new cycle, if it's not of that energy, it doesn't have a place on the timeline. So it has to be purged, because otherwise it will consume all that it's connected to, right? So it's important that you're not afraid to release whatever needs to be released at this time, because otherwise eventually it's going to be purged, and it can cause a lot more pain and anguish for you later on than if you just do it under your own terms now, right? Because ultimately it's going to get shifted out of your life one way or another. So it's best to deal with it now. And as it said, anything that you, anytime you see a sign where there's like a cloak, a hood, an empty fields, a barren place, I feel like anything of that description, anything that makes you feel like there's a void, or that they're shrouded in darkness, or is, like I said, is cloaked, is not seen, is not clear, it's deceptive in some way, you know, something that just, yeah, something that makes an attempt to conceal itself. Anything of that energy, any signs such as that, like a cloak, a hood, yeah, a big empty field, I'd say a barren place, maybe even a desert land, depending on where you are. Anything of that nature, any sign like that that's associated with a specific situation or a person, that needs to be purged, okay? Because there's no place for it where you're headed. You're going in this energy. There's no place for anything of this energy, okay? All right, so as I said, nothing to be afraid of. It's nothing major that's, you know, the end of the world or anything like that, as scary as it sounds. It's just simply that there is a big shakeup going on. So you have to be aware of that, and you have to be willing to release, okay, what doesn't serve the purpose. Release it. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at the tarot and see what messages are in play, coming into our awareness at this time from the divine, and see what support we can get, what understanding we can take from this in order to help with this process. Okay. All right. So let's have a look. I'm just going to get the full layout first, and then we'll go from there. Okay, interesting. Okay, so I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up, all right? Because that's the most logical order for this particular spread. All right, so the first card we got was the Six of Wands, okay? So fire energy. You can pertain this to Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. But regardless, I feel like what this is saying is that anything that we associated with our ego, anything that made us feel triumphant, even if it was at the detriment of our true calling, at the detriment of our true sense of being, right? The things that we hold dear to us, that we value, that we're passionate about, that we're willing to go to war over, essentially. Anything that's kind of not of that nature, but has only fueled our ego, that's only been self-serving, that's what we need to be willing to release, okay? If it doesn't serve the highest good, if it doesn't serve the collective, if it's only self-serving, if it only gives instant gratification to ourselves for a short period of time, we need to be prepared to release it, okay? Because it's not of the energy that we're stepping into, right? So the next card we got is the Ten of Wands, so more fire. I feel like what's being communicated here is that, yeah, as I was saying, there is no place for that energy where we're headed, because where we're headed, we're going to have an opportunity to create a new vision, essentially. There are certain things that are coming together, right? There's certain pathways that are kind of meeting in the middle. That's what I'm feeling, like all these different pathways that we're navigating. And sooner or later, we're all going to find ourselves at this meeting point. And it's at that point we have a real opportunity to create a new vision, right? As a collective. Because we are consciously and unconsciously manifesting changes in our reality every single day. That's why there are certain influences that are trying to shape the awareness of the consciousness, right? The collective consciousness to a certain frequency, to a certain extent, right? Towards a certain direction, so that you can kind of manipulate events that goes around, right? That comes around as a result. So that's why it's important that when we have this meeting, right, this middle point where all the pathways converge into this one brief moment of everyone coming together, that's when we need to use that as an incentive and as an opportunity to create a new vision, right? A new way of doing things, right? That's going to be essential, because right now the trajectory we've been on is self-serving. It doesn't help the collective. Actually, it's held us back in some ways, right? So this shift that's going on, this awareness, this awakening, is helping us to get to this point, this ground zero moment, where we can then shift and create a whole new paradigm, right? Like I said, we're already on a new timeline, so that's going to be essential. Next card we have is the King of Cups. So this is water energy. You could say this is Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, of that energy. And bearing in mind, none of this is pertaining to specific individuals. This is talking about energies, okay? And how those energies are being, are coming into play, right? Essentially on this particular journey that we're on as a collective, as of now. So with the water energy here, the King of Pentacles, the King of Cups here, what it's talking about is using the strength of, the strength that comes from unity and love and understanding and integration of knowledge from past experiences, no matter how traumatic it was, right? In order to integrate those experiences from past lives, from the past in our present lives, in order to move towards this aligned, balanced, emotionally mature, sensitive and responsible standpoint, essentially, you know, coming into this place of being, right? Coming to this awareness, coming of this energy as a collective, where we're emotionally grounded, we have control of our emotions, we're not afraid to express it, we're not afraid to love one another, we're not afraid to express kindness, we're not afraid to open up to one another, be vulnerable, be willing to listen, right? Be willing to communicate, you know, and understand that things, the actions that we take needs to come from a heart-centered, you know, moral compass, right? And not from that which is self-serving, right? So this is what I'm getting from this. And that is what's going to help us heal, not only on an individual level, but also on a collective level, right? Okay. So next card we got was the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, okay? So this is being aware that healing, like I always say, is not a linear path, right? There's many pathways, and we're all on our own individual paths, right? But there, like I said, I feel like there will be a point where we converge, and not that we all end up on the same path moving forward, but that there will be a meeting point, right? And I feel like we are drawing closer to that time, where there will be a meeting point and an opportunity to birth a new vision, okay? I feel like that's coming very soon. I don't know how soon. I can't give you timelines. I don't work with timelines because I have no way of, you know, being able to, you know, predict that. You know, I can't predict timelines. That's not how I work, okay? I just go with what energies are coming to the forefront, okay? And that's what I'm getting from this. But right now is not, while that is coming very soon, we're not there yet, okay? There's things that still need to be done. There's still healing that needs to take place, particularly ancestral healing, as well as past life healing, karmic debts being paid, and karmic cycles being closed out, right? Releasing and purging anything that is not of the energy that we're moving towards, okay? Letting go of resistance, allowing the toxicity of past karmic cycles to fall away, all right? So that's the state, that's where we're at right now. We're going through this process of having to do that, right? That's coming into our awareness. So all of our fears, all of our concerns, all of the things that we judge ourselves and others on are going to be brought to the surface to be looked at, essentially, to be looked at objectively, to be confronted, to be resolved, to be healed, to released, purged, right? All of that is coming up. And then once that's taken place, to a point where the scales are tipped in our favor, then we can begin moving forward. Then we get to the next leg of the journey where we're very close to coming to that ground zero moment. And I say ground zero, and I know that probably provokes a terrifying image or makes you feel like, oh my gosh, like the end. No, when I say ground zero, I mean everything coming back to zero, right? The point where the little fragments of collective consciousness that is us find ourselves coming together and resonating at such a similar frequency, right? That we're able to spark something new, right? And I feel like we are like becoming more magnetized. We are getting more and more drawn to each other, right? Even if people don't want to, I feel like they're feeling the pull as well. And eventually there will be this crucial moment where we come together and we have an opportunity to spark something new. So depending on how we approach that and what we do within that will dictate events to come, essentially, right? So in regards to the next card, we have the Eight of Swords. Okay, so air energy, you can associate that with Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra energy. So what this tells me here is that once we start looking at that, once we start trying to resolve the things that, you know, have kind of started to accumulate in the background and then are coming to the surface, right? Things that we weren't even necessarily aware of, because it's not just pertaining to the current circumstances, right? This is everything from the past, where we're currently at and where we're headed. So it's a lot to integrate at once, but we're kind of being called to do that at this time. But once that happens, as that comes into play, right, which I feel like it's on the verge of doing so right now, there will be times where we struggle with it, for sure. You know, there's going to be moments where we genuinely struggle because it's a lot. Like I said, it's a lot to take on. But once you get past this, right, you'll be able to step into this energy. And look how beautiful it is. Isn't it worth it? Of course, in my mind, of course it's worth it, right? If it can get us out of this state, all this fear, all of this uncertainty of the unknown, the end is nigh kind of energy, if it can bring us out of this space and into this place, like, it's definitely worth it, right? It's definitely worth doing the inner work. Okay. So as I was saying, there's going to be moments where we're going to feel stuck, that we're going to feel overwhelmed by it. It's like, oh my gosh, like, what do I do? Like, this is too much. This is too much to take in all at once. You know, I don't want to see it. I don't want to feel it. I don't want to go through it. Like, it's just a bombardment. It's too much, right? There will be times where we feel like that. But it doesn't change the fact that it's for our highest good. It doesn't change the fact that we're going to come out stronger, happier, and more aligned, more integrated, more aware, okay? Our perception is going to shift, right, as a result. It's going to be hella powerful, like so powerful, right? So while there's going to be some hesitancy, some fear, some feelings of being overwhelmed, you know, it's a bit of the dark night of the soul kind of energy that's being stirred up. Yeah, it's going to be tricky, but it's not for naught, okay? That it does serve a higher purpose for ourselves as individuals and for ourselves as a collective, right? And it's going to benefit not only us as a species, right? It's also going to be of benefit to all the inhabitants of Earth, right? Because we know that there's some significant changes that need to occur, right? That's no joke. We're aware of that, right? So this shakeup is necessary for life on Earth to thrive, as well as us as a spiritual collective, right? To ascend and come into a place of alignment, because we've been, as a unit, we've been so misaligned, right? For so long. So it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take serious time, right? But the next card we have is the Ace of Cups in reverse and more water, right? So what it's saying is that, yeah, it's going to be difficult. There's going to be moments where you feel like giving up. You're going to feel like it's too much, that you don't have the strength to face it head on, that you don't have the awareness or, you know, any means of integrating these experiences, but it's not true. Essentially, it's just simply not true. It's just you didn't realize that you had those abilities to do so, right? But you do. It's something that's gonna happen kind of organically and innately. It's kind of a process that you kind of partially have to put the work into, but you also have to ride some aspects of it out as well. And I feel like with the Ace of Cups in reverse, it's like, yeah, it's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be trying. You're gonna feel like you're not capable of pouring into this this moment, you know, into the collective, because you're like, how can I pour into the collective when I'm being bombarded, right? Bombarded with all of this stuff, right? As well as all of this stuff. You know, it's gonna feel like a lot. I'm not gonna, like, you know me, right? You guys know me. I don't lie to you. I tell you it as I see it, right? I'm very honest about it because it's true. It's not gonna serve any of us if I just tell you what you want to hear. It is gonna be difficult, but the payoff, right, is going to be enormous. And I don't mean, again, don't think of it in terms of an egotistical sense, right? I mean, as a collective, it's a massive payoff, right? That we're no longer going to have the same fears that we've been carrying. We're not going to be carrying all of this, you know, ancestral baggage and karma from current circumstances and past circumstances in this life, and, you know, having to deal with the weights of the fear and the guilt and the shame and the upset and disappointment and all of the pain, right, that we've been put through as a collective. All of the harm that we've done to one another, to the world, right? So it's essential that when we get to that place of understanding, there's going to be a point, an inflection point, where all of this emotional pain, all this emotional baggage is going to be poured out, right? It's going to be released. And when we release that pain, the blessings that are coming through, oh my gosh, it's going to be so, like, we're going to be so thankful that we just released all of this energy, that we were able to step back into the light again after navigating some very difficult circumstances, some difficult energies, you know, things that are terrifying, right? Because of the uncertainty, because of the negativity, because of the psychological warfare that we've been experiencing for so long now, right? But we have an opportunity to stand up and say, no more, right? We know there's more to life than this. So once we come through the other side and have that understanding, look at the energy we're going to be in. You know, we're going to be able to really connect with one another on a more profound way. We're going to be able to really tap into that energy of our inner child, right? It's going to be able to express itself without fear of, oh, what if I don't look cool? Or what if people think I'm weird? You're not going to give a shit. You're just going to do what feels right to you. You're just going to enjoy yourself. You're just going to have a laugh, you know, not take things so seriously. Enjoy the simple things in life, the small blessings, and show gratitude for that. You know, express true kindness, true love, without any kind of agenda, right? It's going to come from a more authentic place. So if that's where we're being aligned to, like, I mean, is it not worth putting a little bit of work into to get there, right? That's how I feel about it. So that's the key messages here, guys, like for all of us. That yes, we're going through a difficult time. We are navigating through things that we haven't quite experienced before on this level, right? And yeah, we are experiencing a shift in timelines. We are on a new trajectory, right? There's certain things that are coming into our awareness that we did not know before, right? Our reality is starting to look very, very different, okay? But that's not a bad thing. The change is necessary, it's needed, okay? We're being awakened to certain knowledge, okay, that we've been sleeping on for too long. So I want to just get some final messages in regards to this energy, because this is the key here. This is the main focus. Everything else is about leading up to this, how we get to this place, right? Where we can celebrate, where we can be one again, okay? Whole again. And it's not to say this is an overnight job, but I feel like we are on a trajectory where that will allow us to have this moment of coming together, right? And I'm not saying there's not going to be problems. Of course there's going to be problems, but I feel like we're coming towards a time where, you know, we can really start to shape our future. But first you have to believe it in order to see it, all right? So that's important too. Boom, onto the deck there, Four of Wands. This is what I'm talking about. Creating stable bridges together as a unit, you know, as a family. Creating bridges, not walls, right? Firm foundations, you know, this is soul level connections, all right? This is exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so let's see. Okay, so let's see, any more energies that needs to come forward, any advice in regards to the play card here, where we're headed towards. I'll take one more. Oh, thank you. All right, so the first card we got was the Nine of Pentacles here, so earth energy. So we could look at this in regards to Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. But what this is talking about here is creating abundance, feeling abundant, feeling like things are grounded, things are just coming together beautifully. It's like, gosh, I have nothing to fear. I can provide, I can support, I am provided for, I am supported. It's that beautiful exchange of energy, right? Where things are just abundant and flowing, and it's not harboring it to oneself and greediness and selfishness, and there's no pride in it. It's just, you know, just pure flow, man. Like it's beautiful. I love that energy. And that's for the collective, right? That's not for specific individuals. This is the collective. So that's what this energy is bringing us towards. And then next we have the Knight of Pentacles, okay? So more earth energy. Things take time. As I was saying, this is not a race. This is not something that's going to happen overnight. It's a process, okay? It's going to take time, but it's worth it. It's worth putting the work in. It's worth knowing to surrender and when to act, right? Finding that beautiful equilibrium and just taking it one step at a time. Knowing that sometimes it's going to be difficult. There's going to be a lot going on at once, but we can support each other through the process, right? That's where our superpower truly lies. It's not in, you know, a few individuals. It's in the collective, right? Yes, there are people like myself who try to, you know, remind us all of that, but ultimately the power lies in the collective. It's us as a unit being aware and consciously aware of our ability, of the power we truly hold, and how we can really harness that together, right? Because one person can be powerful, a group of people can be powerful, but a collective, there is not, like, literally there is nothing more powerful than the collective as a whole, right? 7 billion people we're talking about here, as well as our connection to the divine and the cosmic, you know. So yeah, it's like, it's literally like that. It's just, it takes time. So let's keep moving. Let's keep moving forward. Next we have, not just you, but all of us, have the Strength card in reverse. So very much Leo energy, but yeah, it's not really about specific signs here. It's just the energies. So what we're talking about here is vulnerability. We have to express ourselves in numerous ways without ego, without pride, without there being an agenda or trying to assert dominance. You know, like I'm right, you're wrong. I'm more important than you. You have to do what I say. You have to follow my none of that. Okay, it's like literally being vulnerable and saying, listen, I am in the same boat as you. I'm a human being. I'm a soul having a human experience. I've had my ups, I've had my downs, I've had my pitfalls, I've had my moments of glory, you know. But what I ultimately care about is where we go from here. What can we do to get to this place, right? So being able to express moments of, you know, have moments of vulnerability, being able to express that from, you know, from the heart, and not only to, you know, a specific person, but to each other in general, without having this fear of it being used maliciously. That's a place we also need to be able to get to as a collective. And then finally we have the Four of Swords, healing, 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 healing. This is what it's all about, you know, healing, you know, respite. Once we get to that place, then we can take a moment's pause and just embrace this energy. It's so badly needed, right? We're putting the work in, we're getting to this place of understanding, you know, we'll get to a point, hopefully, where we can be more compassionate, empathetic, you know, be more vulnerable and open to one another without fearing that it's going to be used in some malicious way, or there being some ill intent attached to it, right? And again, to a place where we can literally find inner peace within ourselves, within whatever situation we're navigating in, so that we can get to a point where we can achieve this, where we can just let our inner child run amok without fear of it being harmed, right? And being able to express ourselves purely, right? From the purest parts of ourselves, without fear. And just being able to embrace one another again, you know, truly embrace one another. Come back to that state of pure bliss and wonder and happiness when you were such a small child, when you just wanted to express love and happiness and just having fun and doing something creative or unusual just for the sake of having a new experience, right? Getting back into that place. So yeah, I know this was a long read, guys, but I felt like these energies were really important. As I said, as you know, while this is a light work reading, you have to navigate the shadow in order to get to the light, right? The light is always there, even if it seems like it's failing right now, but I promise you it's not. If anything, it's only growing stronger and more vibrant. You just need the eyes to see it, and possibly just need someone to help point that way, okay? So I try to do that in my own little way. So I hope this helps you. If you are navigating through difficult times, difficult situations, at this point, know that the end is in sight, okay? That these things are being released. But you have to also know that when you see the signs, when you see these opportunities for release, for purging, to do it, to not hold back, not hold on to those energies because of fear, because of anger, because of pain, right? Because you felt like you were so hard done by. You have to understand that, yeah, while it might have been difficult, it's time to release it, okay? Because it has no place where you're headed. And then once you do that, then you can come into a place of inner peace and healing, and then you'll be better equipped to fill the collective cup, all right? Which we are all moving towards, as I say, at this point in time. But it's going to take time. It's not happening overnight. It's a process. But our paths are all going to meet this one point for a brief moment in time. And that is going to be powerful. So I hope this helps you guys. Do let me know your thoughts of this reading, because it is a unique, one-of-a-kind reading. If you found it useful, if you found it insightful, inspiring, do let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please do, because I'd love to see you around. I'd love to have you as part of my little online community here. And yeah, I'll be doing a lot more readings for you guys as well very soon. I will have probably another video going up, possibly before Friday, but definitely on Friday for sure. I'm hoping to get some readings done for Wednesday also, but stay tuned for that. And yeah, if you just want to say hi, you can find my social media channels on my YouTube channel, like the main page. You can find all my social links in the header. Do come and say hi, follow me there, start a conversation. And yeah, If you want a personal reading, you can also do that and book me through my Facebook page. The information will be in the description box below also. And yeah, hopefully I hope, awesome. Great grammar there, Brenda. Anyway, I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great week, a great month, a great year. And I will speak to you guys again very soon. Sending you all the love, encouragement, protection, support, warmth that I have to give. Okay? Take care. Bye for now.